This may just save somebody's life. Welcome to Lockdown 4.0. Today I want to talk about death, the inevitable. So I did this paper a long time ago, probably 7 or 8 or more than that years ago. It said that aging starts at 27. Basically till 27 technically you are breathing in oxygen to grow, and around 27 is when you breathe in oxygen to oxidize, and basically oxidization is burn your cells to death. So 27 is when you start aging. Now death can happen primarily, natural death happens primarily because of age. Other reasons that death could happen naturally are diseases. Diseases can be of two types. One is failure of organs. The second is pathogens that relate to other conditions. Now in the last video I spoke about fasting to boost up your immune system. The beauty of fasting is that so one thing we need to understand is that the intelligence is not just because of the brain. There is intelligence all over the body. You eat food, it digests by itself, we don't do anything. So there is something operating in the body that takes care of it. Your heart beats, you don't think about it. You breathe, you don't think about it, right? Things that happen naturally is a part of the body's intelligence. So this native intelligence in the body, apart from the one in the head, drives a whole bunch of things. And what it does when you are in a fasted state is quite interesting. So the body understands that it is not being fed all the time, so it prepares itself to survive. So that's essentially what it does. Survival for the body happens at multiple levels. The first, I think I mentioned this in one of my very early videos, that when you are fasted, when insulin is not circulating in your body, the body generates other hormones. There is one called IGF-TB1, insulin-like growth factor TB1. I don't know what T stands for. Anyway, so that hormone in particular has the responsibility of going around the body and marking cells that are damaged to be repaired. Now when you eat all the time, first thing is that your body doesn't really get the opportunity to mark what is damaged. The second thing is, when you eat all the time, you are in a chronic energy surplus state. The body always has free energy, and therefore instead of repairing, what it does is it replaces, right? So your cell wall is damaged, okay, let's go take the cell out, put a new one there. Now with that there is another problem that happens. I'm not sure if I mentioned this. So if there is any kind of genetic error, it gets copied. So that is kind of the source of all kinds of malignant and benign tumors and cancers and so on. So by fasting, the first thing that happens is you mark everything that is damaged, every individual cell that is damaged, and it is repaired. Now that leads to overall organ recovery, because organs are made up of a bunch of cells. So that is one thing that happens, which is the repair of the organs. I can give you an example about myself. My friends probably know this. I had a ligament tear from my late mid-teens, and then that was my right knee. Left calf muscle was damaged during college days. Somebody smacked a cricket bat on my leg, so that was that. And then my left shoulder was pretty much damaged, because first is I'm right-handed, so this is the dominant, stronger shoulder. And because of sitting in front of the computer, leaning my arm out to the keyboard all the time, my shoulder had some problems, which I'd kind of ignored and gotten used to living with. Since it's almost 2 years now that I started fasting, and everything's healed by itself. I mean, I did a little bit of yoga to help, but being who I am, extremely lazy, I have not done anything continuously for more than a few days. So yoga was like a supplement, and I would give fasting the full credit to the entire recovery that has happened. Anyway, so injuries, your damages, organs, all of those they repair. For instance, I had a fatty liver. I used to drink a lot once upon a time, and of course my eating habits, everything was whatever that it was. And 2016 I did a full body checkup, and doctor warned me about the fatty liver. 2018 I do it every second year. 2018 I'd been fasting for just over a month and a half, under 2 months, and my fatty liver was almost clean. The doctor was surprised how it could happen. What I'm trying to say is that I've experimented on myself, so I can with certainty tell you that the repair actually happens just by not eating all the time. Now, the second thing I mentioned about the immune system was that fasting increases the antibody production. So the reason is this: when you're fasted, again, you're not eating all the time, your body prepares to survive. And the second leading cause of natural death, if you categorize them, would be pathogens, all kinds of pathogens that we encounter at all times, including the Chinese virus that's going on recently. Now, the body, to sustain through such kind of situations, produces antibodies as a preemptive defense mechanism. So that I can tell you, as I think I told this in the last video, that in the last 2 years I've fallen sick only once, which is the flu season from Q4 2019, and I was bedridden for 1 day, fasted, and the next day I was completely okay. I was tired, I had to eat, and I was absolutely fine the next day. And this was the classic, flu, the viral fever that goes around in India, and typically downtime before this has been 3 days for me. This time it was just 1 day. So again, if you take that's the only incident that I have to kind of back up my claim, but I'm pretty sure it works because I don't fall sick otherwise. The third thing is, apart from pathogens, is say toxins. We encounter toxins from the environment all the time, not just food, air, contact on the skin, some things go inside. So we accumulate toxins, it's natural. Now, one of the things in fasting that helps remove toxins very strongly, fasting in general cleanses the body, but very effective one is dry fasting, like the ones for Ramzan. Mathematically, in 10 days, 99% upwards of all the toxins should be flushed out. The reason is this: when you don't consume water, the body again is very intelligent, it's very resourceful, it figures out where to get water from. So it goes about removing excess water from individual cells in the body to sustain your metabolism. When that happens, along with the water, a lot of toxins accumulated within the cells are pulled out. And at the rate at which it happens, in 10 days, your body is almost entirely clean, 99% upwards, as I said. So the 10 days fasting, dry fast, doesn't mean that you don't drink water for 10 days. Please don't do that. It's classic Ramzan fasting, so 12-14 hours of no water. And during the daytime you dehydrate a lot more, so it's far more effective. So that's one other thing, you can remove your toxins. That's another possible cause of death. The reason is that every thing that is toxic to the body has a I don't know what it is called, a threshold, like a minimum fatal dose, I guess. You generally don't find people dying with toxin exposure very often, unless they work in extremely hazardous situations. But then dry fasting will help you recover very strongly with that. Then the next thing is very particular to this going Chinese virus, which is if you notice, the first thing that came out in the news a few months back was that they called it the SARS-2, severe acute respiratory syndrome -2, the second variant because of this virus, which basically causes pulmonary distress. A lot of Chinese reports, post-mortem reports, called the cause of death as unknown pneumonia. So pneumonia, if you know what that is when the capillaries, the tiny little blood vessels at the end of the alveoli, which is basically the oxygen carbon dioxide exchange in the lungs, they inflame, which basically prevents the body from being able to breathe, which is why you need ventilator to push in air and suck out carbon dioxide and so on. Now, fasting is known to reduce inflammation. So what is inflammation? Inflammation is basically swelling that happens as a part of body's natural process to recover. So you get hurt, it swells up, right? So body secretes certain things, makes that place swell up to protect it and to heal it from inside. That's the process basically. And pneumonia is when it goes to extreme. You basically can't breathe. I mean, I've had pneumonia 1998 December, the winter rains when the onion prices shot up. That was when I had pneumonia, and I know it is painful, very, very, very stressful actually. Now, fasting reduces inflammation, which means it basically puts you at a better chance of being able to live through such a situation. Swelling doesn't necessarily mean it has to be of the lungs that will put you at risk of dying. It could be any other organ as well. So overall, your inflammations reduce. So that's another very valid reason why everybody should start fasting. I mean, with the Chinese virus going around, I think it is probably the most important time that everybody should start fasting. And what you need to know is children below 16 and seniors, probably I would put conservatively age above 50 years, should not really go aggressive like how I do it. I mean, I eat once in a day. I was fasted 22 hours when I broke my fast today. So I would suggest do a 12-hour fast at the least for people in this age bucket. And over time, if they are comfortable, they can increase it. But healthy age group, which is say 18, 16 years till about 50, maybe 55, should be a little more aggressive and start with a 14-hour fasting regimen, because technically 12 hours is when the fasted state begins. And how the fasted state begins is basically that all the food in your GI tract is digested and the body stops producing insulin to transport energy and stuff, right? So try this 14 hours upwards. There is a chance that you will be able to tide over this much better. Okay, I am still due to talk about motivation and the weight loss plateau. I will do it ASAP. But in the meantime, please share this video. I don't care about likes and subscriptions. I've told this a long time ago. But share this video because people that may be interested or can do it may give it a shot and try and do it. This may just save somebody's life. So thanks. I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.